Consider this for a moment. The tensions that keep you awake at night might vanish if you dared to release them. Yet that idea contradicts everything we've been taught about control. Montaigne, the 16th century thinker, believed that real power emerges when we stop tightening our grip. He insisted that letting go doesn't imply apathy. Instead, it means understanding the nature of life, unpredictable, swirling, and forever forming beyond our limited plans. The instant we release our desperate clutch for perfect outcomes, we invite possibility. This notion sparks a potent question. Why do we crave control if it smothers our growth? Montaigne observed that worry corrodes our mental serenity and blocks our intuitive wisdom. But here's the paradoxical twist. By loosening our hold, we somehow gain more mastery over life itself. Right now, there's a deeper enigma at play. What if your obsession with controlling everything is actually fueling endless anxiety rather than providing security? Montaigne's secret suggests that the real fortress lies in acceptance of change, not in resisting it. We often see letting go as defeat, yet it can be the doorway to unexpected breakthroughs. If you sense a gentle pull from within, urging you to test this liberating concept, you're not alone. There's something compelling about the notion that surrender to life's flow can unlock hidden layers of creativity, courage, and calm. So don't blink it just yet. We're only scratching the surface of Montaigne's remarkable invitation to transform your relationship with worry. Trust me, this journey will reshape everything you thought you knew. You might wonder how Montaigne arrived at such a radical stance. His personal diaries reveal endless reflections on human unpredictability. From the sudden twists of fate to our contradictory desires, he questioned why we cling to illusions of certainty when life itself dances beyond neat boundaries. Although he was born into relative privilege, Montaigne confronted the fragility of existence through wars, personal losses, and societal upheaval. Each turbulent event shook his confidence in superficial structures, leading him to probe deeper into our universal fear of letting go. He realized we construct invisible barriers in hopes of feeling safe, yet ironically, they trap us. Why then do we persist in this tension? Maybe it's the promise that if we only worry enough, we can somehow outsmart destiny. Montaigne found this notion comical and profoundly tragic. Our frantic attempts to shield ourselves become the very cages preventing us from living fully. To him, dropping that armor wasn't an act of resignation, but an invitation to explore life's raw essence. There's a haunting power in his words. The more we seek rigid security, the more we stifle our natural adaptability. Imagine a seed refusing to break its shell out of fear. It never grows into a flourishing plant. Montaigne urges us to crack open that shell of control and taste the freedom of genuine living. So if you feel a flicker of curiosity or even skepticism, that's precisely the fire he wanted to ignite. Keep watching, because we'll dive further into how this perspective could upend your world. This conversation isn't just philosophical fluff, it's an emotional vortex that cuts to the heart of our anxieties. Montaigne's wisdom has endured centuries because he dared to challenge our deepest fear, that without control, we are lost. Yet consider for a second the burden of perpetual vigilance. We try to micromanage everything from our daily schedule to the grand meaning of our lives, building an ever-growing tower of stress that can topple with a single unexpected gust. Montaigne's remedy is startlingly straightforward. Release the compulsion to script every outcome and notice what remains. The emotional anchor of his teaching is the recognition that no human mind can fully tame life's chaos. Our persistent illusions, to the contrary, merely transform us into exhausted gatekeepers for events beyond our domain. Montaigne suggests that it's in acknowledging this inherent limitation we actually find liberation. By doing so, our emotional energy, once devoured by worry, is freed to create, love, and explore. Picture the instant you put down a heavy suitcase after hours of lugging it around. Your arms feel light, and a wave of relief sweeps over you. That's the sensation Montaigne wanted us to experience daily. A calm acceptance of life as it is, rather than fighting against an invisible tide. Yes, it's counterintuitive, and yes, it often feels unnatural in a world that praises relentless action. But that sense of peace might just be the missing ingredient you've been seeking. Keep listening. We're about to uncover why this perspective can heal far more than your nerves. Interrupt your usual train of thought right here. Imagine being confronted with every fear you've ever tried to bury. That's how Montaigne describes the raw confrontation of letting go. It peels back layers of false security and forces us to look at the shaky foundations beneath. We tell ourselves if we hold on tight enough, the nightmares won't surface. But Montaigne counters that by clinging, we inadvertently magnify them. Think of how tightly you clutch the wheel of a car in a tailspin. The more you tense up, the less actual control you have. This mental pattern interrupt can be unsettling, but also exhilarating when you realize how much psychic space you reclaim. Montaigne points out that our minds are brimming with half-formed doubts, regrets, and scenarios that may never unfold. By pausing to observe these swirling shadows, we stop feeding them the energy they need to persist. In that moment, we interrupt the autopilot of worry. It's like stepping back to see the entire stage instead of getting lost in a single frightening scene. Montaigne's insight here is that forcing ourselves to maintain illusions of control can be more terrifying than letting those illusions crumble. A feeble fortress does nothing against the storms of life. It's better to accept the storm and learn to sail with it. That might mean confronting aspects of your identity you've locked away. But the reward is a calm strength no fortress could provide. We'll see how this concept intersects with relationships, career, and self-discovery. Don't turn away yet. Moving forward, let's accelerate the pace and see how Montaigne's principle applies to real life. Look at how we sabotage ourselves when we obsess over controlling the results in our work or relationships. We micromanage every detail, hoping to avoid catastrophe, but we often spark the exact meltdown we fear. Montaigne's momentum builder mindset indicates that once you remove the heavy weight of worry, you're more agile, capable of pivoting and improvising in the moment. Think about discovering a sudden fork in the road. If you plan every turn in detail, you might freeze when an unforeseen detour appears. But if you're open to recalculating mid-journey, you'll find creative paths you'd never have spotted otherwise. This approach triggers a domino effect of serenity and curiosity. By dropping the rigid controls, you unleash new ideas, strengthen connections, and gain the courage to try risky projects or honest conversations. Montaigne suggests that the calm derived from letting go isn't passivity, it's an active stance of receptivity. You're more alive to each moment, noticing clues that might spark brilliance or warn you of hidden traps. Think of it as stepping onto a fast-moving river with a sturdy raft. You aren't helpless, but you also aren't commanding the water to change course. Instead, you harness its power and steer wisely. Montaigne believed that embracing this flow allows you to evolve rapidly, unburdened by the paralyzing weight of endless fears. Stick around, because up next is the unexpected revelation that letting go can transform not just the self, but entire communities. Let's inch closer to Montaigne's resolution. How does this philosophy of letting go actually solve our day-to-day struggles? It comes down to trust, not blind trust in a guaranteed outcome, but trust in your ability to adapt. Montaigne recognized that humans are far more resourceful than we realize. The resolution tease here is that once you release the mental clutter fueled by overthinking, you no longer stand in your own way. You find an inner equilibrium that can weather sudden job loss, heartbreak, or unforeseen setbacks. Instead of collapsing under the weight of worry, you respond with a flexible calm, pivoting to new solutions. Montaigne believed that in our willingness to shift, we encounter a reservoir of inner power that thrives on spontaneity rather than rigid control. Here's a subtle but critical clue. Letting go of worry does not mean you forfeit ambition or goals. Montaigne didn't suggest turning into a statue and hoping everything falls into place. Instead, He championed wise action tethered to an openness for life's detours. This shift can be the difference between feeling constantly endangered and feeling quietly confident. It's the kind of confidence that emerges when you know you can pivot if plans go astray. Perhaps the biggest lesson is the idea that whatever you're grappling with might become lighter once you let it breathe. We often stifle ourselves by obsessing over every angle, but Montaigne's invitation is to allow some space for miracles to occur. In a moment, we'll delve into what Montaigne would call resolution in practice. Now let's anchor these ideas at a deeply human level. Imagine the relationships that occupy your life: family, friends, partners. Envision how many arguments and misunderstandings stem from trying to force someone else's behavior. Montaigne highlights that relinquishing our grip on others' actions can provoke an unexpected warmth and empathy. When you stop insisting that people meet your every expectation, you open a door to genuine connection. Instead of dwelling on their flaws, you begin to see their potential. Montaigne's emotional anchor extends to compassion for yourself too. The relentless internal pressure to be flawless dissolves under the truth that you are perpetually evolving, just like everyone else. Here lies a radical softness. Letting go of self-criticism can free up tremendous creative energy. And that's not all. Montaigne believed in building a sense of community, grounded in shared vulnerability. When you show others that you aren't obsessed with controlling them, they often feel safe to reveal their true selves. This collective letting go fosters deeper trust, turning acquaintances into steadfast allies. Montaigne's notion implies that when an entire group embraces this openness, breakthroughs occur on a grand scale, from artistic endeavors to scientific innovation. If our emotional tensions are eased, we can collaborate with fresher eyes and bolder hearts. So the emotional anchor extends beyond personal tranquility. It affects every bond we nurture. Montaigne's perspective insists that we influence each other most profoundly when we cease trying to manipulate everything around us. Up next, we'll weave these threads together to show how they shape your life. We've journeyed through Montaigne's core secret, the magic of letting go, the unraveling of worry. Now it's time to knit it all together by challenging you to take a leap. What if you tested this idea for a week? Could you allow daily uncertainties to unfold without your anxious grip? Montaigne believed that real transformation happens when thought meets action. It's not enough to read or ponder. You must live the letting go.
So here's a bold call to action.
Pick one worry dominating your mind this week. Maybe it's about finances, a strained friendship, or a career dilemma, and deliberately loosen your hold. Refuse to feed it constant fretting. See what reveals itself in that spacious pause. This is your moment of direct engagement with Montaigne's legacy. Discuss the results with someone you trust, or drop a comment below to share your experience. By doing so, you invite not just personal relief, but communal growth. Each time you let go and adapt, you add a spark to an evolving tapestry of human resilience. Montaigne's wisdom may be centuries old, but its pulsating relevance is unstoppable. So here's your final invitation. Dare to embrace life's unpredictability. Let go of the tight-fisted worry that's kept you from seeing the broader horizon. Challenge yourself to shift your perspective and watch how the world around you shifts in response. If this resonates, or if you have a story to share, comment below, like this video, and subscribe for more dives. It's time to trust the flow. Let life surprise you.